Sure, card
I'll try. Zion. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. We are up to Kuf Memdalid Zion. And then we're going to start into Hilchas Ishus. Okay, so Hilchas Kibbut, we finish off Hilchas Kibbut Rabbi v'Zaken v'Talmud Chacham v'Kohen. So Zion Talmud Chacham mezalzel in mitzvahs ain't but Yiras Shemayim. The Talmud Chacham is mezalzel in mitzvahs, doesn't have Yiras Shemayim. Reu kekal shel b'tzibur. He's considered like the most kal of the tzibur, right? Which is that he doesn't. We talked about how they have priority in business and all that stuff. Kohen v'Yisrael shem shavim b'chachma. Let's say a Kohen and Yisrael that they have the same brains. Mitzvah to say in the Torah la'akdam is the Kohen. It's a mitzvah to say to go to the Kohen first. Never v'kidashtay v'dasher roseinu zal l'chol davar sheb'kedusha. Kloimar b'chol davar sheyira gadol. Anything that it makes him look like he's a gadol. Who Makodesh, he goes, he's Makodesh. Lias Rishon, the Kriyas Atayra, that's where he gets the first Alev, Lias Rosh Medabrim B'chol, Kibbutz he gets to be the first speaker, the Dabar V'Lidrosh Tchila, right? He gets to speak first, V'chein B'Yeshiva, Yidaber B'Rosh, he sits at the head, V'chein B'Suda, no wonder Landau's on, V'chein B'Suda, Hu Kaidim Levarech Hamaitzi, Berachas Hamazon, he's the first one to get food. And he benches first, and he gets the first portion. Unless there's a Yisrael there that's greater than him in Chachma. He gives him the Mana Yafa first. But if there's a Kohen who's splitting with a Shutvis with a Yid, he does not have to give him a Chelek Yafa. Change the derech covered sheyitol chelek hayof. It's not derech covered that he. This is very interesting, right? Change the derech covered sheyitol chelek hayof. It's not derech covered for the kohen to take the better portion. Shekol anoisin eina bechelek hayofe. Anybody who puts his eyes on a chelek hayofe, eina roya siman bracha la'olam. You're not going to see siman bracha, right? Meaning, it's interesting. If you try to get selfish, you're not going to see siman bracha from that. So Mamela, he shouldn't.
If you get it because you deserve it, it's one thing. If you get it because you go after it, it's something else.
That's what we have to say, right? So if somebody wants to buy kitchens from you just because you're a kohen, that may not going to see kitchen. They might not see. I don't know. I don't know if that's the same mashal, but yeah. But that applies to everybody, not just Kehanim, I think. It just happens to be this is the scenario. If there's no Kohen, then it's best to give it to a Levi. If they're at least Shavim B'chachma. Now, why don't we do this nowadays? It's not clear why nowadays we don't do it, but it seems like the yichus of Kehanim got so messed up. To Mamela, we're not sure. That's Mamela. That seems to be the tzad heter, the moira heter for not doing this. Today, I had a kohen poured me a full cup of seltzer, mamish. It was a terrible thing, mamish, possibly an isser.
You seemed like you enjoyed it.
Yes. Okay, Tess. Also, l'shtamish b'kohen afilu b'zman hazeh. You are not allowed to be mishtamish with a kohen even b'zman hazeh or kamoil behektishu. See that? It's mamish moil behektish if you use something from a kohen. I mean, if you have a kohen work for you. Shenemar v'kidashtre ki eslechem elekecha hu makriv. You make him holy because he's the one that's makriv to Hashem. Even though nowadays we don't have karbanos, he's still considered kaddish, even if he's driving and smoking a cigar. But if the kohen is meichel on his covet, then mutter. So maybe this is a heter, because if he meichel on the covet, then it's fine. Because the kahuna is his, and he's allowed to be meichel, and he's allowed to allow Yisrael to be mishtamash. Kol shekain sheyachal lach lekover liyisrael lakdima b'dvarim and amorim le'el, and kol shekain that he could be Michael and to give it to Yisrael. Okay, now we go to.
Can the Kohen pour you wine at the Seder?
Because seemingly he's Michael. Seemingly he's Michael. You got to make sure he's Michael. I don't know. Do you have to make sure he's Michael? I'm not sure.
I mean, if he's doing it for you, he's probably mochel.
But maybe he didn't. Maybe he doesn't know the halacha, right? Could he just totally forgot the halacha? Doesn't know. So I don't know if you have to clarify that first or not. Okay, Simen Kuf Memei Hilchos Ishus Ubay Chav Vav Seifim. So Hilchos Ishus. Yeah, Chayav Adam Lisa Isha Aleph. Chayav Adam Lisa Isha Pigdei Lifsleis V'Rilivasi. It's very interesting. Why you chayav to get married? Kidei Pru Urevu. Doesn't say for romance, and it doesn't say, at least right now, it doesn't say. We're going to say later, not going to say romance, but it's the main thing to get married is Pru Urevu, to have a mitzvah to propagate the world. A mitzvah zu chal al adam mishenichas l'shnas yud ches. It's chal once he hits 18, which the Rambam says really means in the 17th year, right? Al kaponim lo yavar michav shana below isha. Al kaponim no more 20. If you're learning Torah basmada, Lisa Isha, and you're afraid, which is another interesting lashon, you're afraid to marry a woman, so that it won't cause bittul Torah. So you see that women do cause bittul Torah, right? So if you're scared of that, then you shouldn't be mevatel from limud. And here they bring from the Chafetz Chaim that 25 is a max, even if you're learning. So, but if so, you could push it off. But that's, of course, if you don't have any Yetzirah. So if you do have a Yetzirah, then you have to get married right away. So it's very, very difficult to justify it but that's what we do. Base. Once you have a boy and a girl, but that's as long as the son and the daughter can have children. Let's say somebody has a son and a daughter and they die. So if that son and daughter left kids, so you with the next generation. But that's only that's only when the grandchildren have a boy and a girl. And they were born from the son and the daughter. Meaning you had a kid from each kid that died. Even though it swapped and the son had a daughter and the daughter had a son. But since they come from the son and the daughter, but if one of them did not leave over any kids, then even if the second child left over many kids like Kiyama Mitzvah, it's a very big chiddush. Meaning he's saying you have to have at least a boy and a girl from each boy and a girl that you have. All right? So meaning it can't come from one yichus. It's got to go from both. Gimel, even though you Makayim Mitzvah Perivira, also Lamed.
So you're not yet to Perivu until your kids have kids?
If the kids die, if somebody's kids die, then you're not Makayim Perivu unless those kids left kids. Right? And each kid has to leave a kid. Right? Meaning if the person has two kids, a boy and a girl, then let's say the boy dies with no kids, and the girl has 100 boys and girls, he's not Makayim Perivu. It doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah. But if he has his boy and a girl that's still alive, he's Yaitse.
Yes. Yeah.
L'masreya, he could be the mitzvah could be taken back.
That's what it sounds like. Right? Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. It sounds like that. Yeah. I mean, so let's say the parents die, which is the normal case, and then the kids die without kids. So now, what the schar and shemayim that the parents got gets taken away from them? I don't know. I don't know exactly if there's a statute of limitations or something, right? Anyway, and you have to marry a woman who has to have the ability to have children if it's possible. But if he understands from himself that he can't have kids, then don't go. If you know you can't have kids, don't go marry a woman who could have kids, because then you're going to have less kids in the world. And let's say if he has a lot of kids, if he's going to marry a woman who could have kids, then there's going to end up being fights, as we know happens unfortunately often, step kids, etc., then it is mutter for him to marry a woman who cannot have kids. Because again, that's because he has his own kids, so he's Mekayim the mitzvah. But you can't not get married because of this chashash. Right? He's saying it's also for a man not to be married. Right? I once saw shtickle Torah.
Is this married or just having kids? Meaning,
no, even no,
being
there's
married.
a chiyuv to be married. He's saying a chiyuv to be married.
That's a separate issue. Let's say you're married, then you want to propagate the world.
No, so what's the problem?
So that can be done. No, it doesn't go on the puravu. Doesn't go on the marriage. It goes on that you're having children.
It goes on, correct. But there's also, he's saying you can't live without a wife, right? The Reb Feivel Cohen once had a shtickle Torah in the Journal of Contemporary Science, I think that's called, right? Whatever that shtickle, and he says he doesn't understand older single men. Imagine a guy says, I didn't find the lulav and esrog that I like, so therefore I'm not getting the mitzvah lulav and esrog this year. I'm not buying it. I'm not taking it. He said nobody would ever do that. You have to do it. That's all. Whether it doesn't fit exactly what you like, tough luck. So he said he doesn't understand why a man also, if you didn't find exactly what you're looking for, well, you got to marry somebody. You find somebody who wants to marry, you got to marry them.
It's a little different. After lulav and esrog, after 8 days, you're done. The person you have to live with the rest of your life.
So what? But he's saying you have a mitzvah to have kids. You have to do it. Even if it doesn't make, this is what he was saying. I'm not saying you should try this at home, and I'm not saying either anybody should try telling this to an old
why
single.
Does he only have a time on single men? Why not single women?
Single women don't have a chiyuv. They have no chiyuv prudavu. They're not mechuyev to be married. Right? Anyways, Daled. Nasa isha v'shasa ima yud shanim v'lo yolda. If a guy marries a woman and they wait 10 years and she shouldn't have a baby, yesh lo legarsha, he should divorce her. Because the assumption is they went that long, they can't have kids. There's a lot of chilukei dinim. We don't do this anymore. We don't require it. Hey, isha ena mitzvah perivirivya. A woman is not chayav in perivirivya mikol makom lesamad b'loy bal mishum chashada. She should get married only because of chashad. Because if a single lady doesn't get married, then people are going to be chayshid her that she is a zayna. Vav yishtadol kol adam likach isha haguna min mishpacha haguna. Everybody should try and get a proper wife from a proper family. Shloisha simanim yeshal Yisrael, and there's 3 simanim for Yisrael. Baishanim, are they embarrassed? Rachmanim, do they have pity? Goyim lechasanim, do they go chesed? Umisha ein lo simanim elu ein aroi ledavik boy. If they don't have these 3 simanim, then you're not supposed to be, you shouldn't be medavik to them. It doesn't say here that you should get a picture of the woman to see if she's right for you. It just says find out if she has busha and find out if she has rachmanas, and find out if she is a goymel chesed. If she fits that, you can marry her. And on that note, everybody should have shalom bayis. Everybody should have a good vach and a fine night.
Recording.